Hey guys, it's Megan, so welcome to episode 3 in my Create This Book series. I was pretty busy this week, so I only ended up doing 3 pages, but I still hope that you guys like it. So without further ado, let's just get into it. The first page that I decided to do this week says to create a flaw. Draw, write, or design something here, insert an obvious flaw. So I had seen this picture online recently, and it's this thing where it's like a rainbow and you have to look at the dot for 30 seconds, and then once you look up, you'll see a rainbow in the sky. Since the rainbow is obviously not the right color and it also has a random black dot on it, I thought that it would be good to use this for this page. So I just drew out the rainbow and then I erased the pencil lines so that you could barely see them, and then I filled in the rainbow with my Winsor & Newton Pro markers. After that, I took one of my black Micron pens and then I drew a dot onto the drawing. I used a black Winsor & Newton Pro marker to fill in the background. I was originally going to use paint for this, but I was just being lazy and I really didn't want to have to wait for the paint to dry. On the opposite page, I decided to write out a quote. I just googled quotes about flaws, not gonna lie, but I really liked this one. It says, "Once you have accepted your flaws, no one can use them against you." To tie this in with the other page, I used my Winsor & Newton Pro markers to draw out these little paint splats. And I used the same colors that were in the rainbow to make the paint splatters. And once these 2 pages were done, I just used a glue stick to attach them into the book. I cut down the page with the rainbow on it because I like to keep the prompt showing so that I can remember what the prompt was. And here's how the finished page turned out. I wrote out the instructions just so I'm sure I won't forget them, but if somebody else was gonna look through this book, I put them there so that they would know what to do. I also added the date and a purple heart since there wasn't any purple in this drawing. And if you're wondering, the one that I drew actually works. I tested it out, it works, which is a little bit impressive to me. I don't know why, I just find these things so interesting. The next page that I decided to do says create folds. Fold this page in any way you see fit. So I decided to do an origami theme for this page, which definitely is not the most original thing in the world, but I really actually do love origami, and I love memorizing how to make things. I did this a lot in boring classes at school. I would just take a piece of notebook paper and rip it into a square and then just make a bunch of stuff out of it. For this page, I decided to draw out instructions for how to make an origami cat. These are really simple to make, which is great because I didn't have to draw out a lot of steps. I drew out each step and then I colored in the drawings with an orange colored pencil. And of course I had to make some origami cats, so I made each cat and then I glued down the little flaps so that it would stay flat. And then I drew on the faces with some Posca paint pens. To decorate the page, I used some scrapbook paper that I had left over from a previous project. The piece of scrapbook paper that I had wasn't quite big enough, so you can kind of see me trying to line up the bricks and glue on the extra scraps of paper. I cut out the instructions that I drew and then I glued them onto the page. I glued the origami cats that I made onto the right side of the page. And to follow my rule, I wrote the date and then I put a purple heart since there wasn't any purple in the drawing on the page. And here's how the finished page turned out. It's really simple, but I kind of like it. The last page that I decided to do this week says to create a border. Draw or make some sort of interesting border around these pages. I decided to make the border by cutting scrapbook paper using these fancy edge scissors. So for the border, I first decided to use washi tape. I just took some of this sparkly purple washi tape and I put it all around the edges. Then I cut strips of holographic scrapbook paper with the fancy scissors, and then I glued them around the edges using a hot glue gun. I tried using a glue stick at first, but for some reason it wouldn't stick down, so I just decided to use hot glue. I cut strips of this pink star printed scrapbook paper and then I glued it on the same way. And then I glued on strips of purple star printed scrapbook paper. Once I had created the border, I thought that it still looked a little bit plain, so I decided to paint the inside black. And if anyone was wondering, I just used the cheap 50-cent acrylic paint from Walmart. When the paint dried, I went over it with my white Posca paint pen. First, I just drew a scalloped border around the instructions. The border really reminded me of a galaxy, so I decided to do some space-themed doodles on top of the black paint. I drew the sun, planets, spaceships, and even a little alien. These doodles are definitely not perfect because since with the paint pen you kind of can't erase it, so you really only get one shot. But thankfully I think it turned out pretty nice. I also went ahead and added some stars in the background to pull it all together. And here's how the finished page turned out. I just realized that I didn't put the date on there, so I'll have to go back in and do that, but I think that this page is my favorite out of this episode. Comment down below which page was your favorite. So here are today's shoutouts. If you want a shoutout in my next video, go on to my denim jacket video, like the video, and then comment when you're done. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and as always, make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one, and make sure to follow me on Instagram. It is @WeilerMegs, and yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!